Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore this amazing, incredible, wide world of pens. And yes, I have another Retro51 Buzz pen. I originally got ballpoint because that was what was available. But now, we have a fountain pen. And I got it in fine. Great packaging. I really enjoy it. You know, that label is really well done. It really exemplifies kind of, I think, the philosophy of Retro51. Life is too short to carry an ugly pen. If you just pull off the top, you'll see the pen. And it is certainly a very, very attractive pen. Even if you're not a beekeeper, like some of us have friends who are beekeepers, and that's who this pen will eventually go to. Everywhere you look, there's just some nice details. And I appreciate that. Functional clip, stiff, but functional. And just the way the colors work, the way those bees look, the honeycomb, looks like some are sealed and some are open. Yeah, it's a whole amazing world of honeybees and what they do and how they do it. And it's certainly something, if you're ever of interest to it, look it up, do your research. The cap comes off in a little over 1.5 turns, and we'll see a nice branded nib. It's a Yovo nib. We'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a fine, and we see an F for fine there on the side of the nib. That's always nice to see. And the pen fits good. It feels good in your hand. That section's a little on the small side for me, but it works. It's certainly an attractive looking pen in your hand, and yes, as you can tell from the design, it does post very deep, very secure. The cap does have some weight to it, so you feel it. And there's a plastic liner in there, so I don't think the cap is going to damage any of that design work on the barrel, but I'm not a poster. And it fits fine in the hand lengthwise without the cap on. But if you need to put the cap somewhere, you can put it there. So here we are comparing the ballpoint with the fountain pen. And as we noticed on the fountain pen, the detail on the ballpoint is just as nice, just as good. Very consistently done. Kudos to Retro51 for a great design, great execution, visually and tactfully. It just fits well in the hand, works well in the hand. And we got a bear there at the top of the cap, so they're consistent. Honey bear. That knurled top in the ballpoint, that's what you use to extract the ballpoint so you can write. And again, it feels very, very good, very solid feel to it. Clip's the same on both of them. Nice brass color, exemplified by some of the other metal components of the pen. I have to admit that it is one of the prettiest pens that I've had the pleasure to show you. So inside the nice Retro51 packaging is some interesting materials. Here's some information on how this pen you purchased helps benefit honeybees, which are certainly having challenges. They are not a native species to North America, so that's one of the issues. So they haven't evolved to be able to deal with things like mites and other bad things in the environment. Pesticides don't help. And then you get a nice Retro51 booklet that describes the pen and how it's good to have a pen you're happy with. The mission statement, which is good. Again, everything they do is really nice, very thoughtful about the pens. Some examples of some just basic colors. And in '97, they introduced the Tornado, which is the one that is the basis for the Buzz pens. And of course, the Tornado fountain, cartridge or converter, shows you the bits and pieces. Talks about fountain pen care and maintenance, always good to know. And they certainly, I think, do a great job in going into detail and letting you know all the different things you need to do to make certain your fountain pen experience is very positive. A pencil, and of course, a limited, no implied warranties, and some nice graphics. And I love their phrase. Like most cartridge converter pens, it's a simple configuration, done very, very well. And yes, they provided a converter along with 2 cartridges. But what I wanted to show you is that this is a nib assembly. It just unscrews, and it's a basic Yovo number 6 nib assembly. So you can replace it with any other number 6 Yovo. Just unscrew and screw. And inside the cap, nice liner. Again, the pen is just well made. All the little bits and pieces fit together very, very well. Very, very good design in the cap and barrel. Let's go to night mode. I want to show you something. We're in a dark mode now, and we brought in the LED. It really shows off the amazing detail in the pen. If you look inside the cap, we'll see a plastic liner there with threads. So there's plastic threads on the metal threads of the barrel. If we look further down, we'll see a ledge there. Keep that nib nice and secure in a nice small spot so it stays nice and wet, so you uncap and it writes right away. If we put the LED inside the cap, we'll see that the bear is a little translucent and the LED light shines through. Cool little detail, only shown by the LED. Hope you appreciate the interesting way to look at pens under different light. So just to show you, this is a Franklin Christoph, another pen maker that uses only Yovo nibs. And if we take the section from the Retro51 Buzz pen, you'll see that that screws right in, so you could easily replace that nib when you get your Retro51 with any of those Yovo nibs that you might have to give you a different writing experience. Ink to put in the pen, well, this is an ink I bought with the pen. I love Robert Oster inks. I have a few. I really enjoyed this one, but the cap kind of fell apart. I could reconstitute what's dried there in the bottom, which I might do someday. But I don't have a Dominant Industry ink, so I bought a bottle. It is an amazing looking bottle, and I don't know how you pronounce that, but you'll be seeing this coming up in a pen review in the future when I put a new ink into a new pen. All I can say about how this pen writes is, wow. It is one of the smoothest, nicest feeling nibs I've written with in a long time. Just a hint of feedback, you know you're on paper. It flows and glides across the paper. It feels great. Nice line. And this Robert Oster Jade ink just looks beautiful coming out of that nib. A little bit of shading, just a beautiful shade of green. Great writer. I'm impressed. Very impressed. I have a number of Jowo nibs, and this one is better than any of those. I did my normal flush. I did my normal 3 fills to make certain everything was well saturated and that ink had an unimpeded flow from the converter to the nib tip. But the feel of the nib on paper, as indicated by that nib tipping material, is just phenomenal. Can't say enough. Love writing with it. So this is my first Retro51 fountain pen, and I'm impressed with the way that it writes, the way that it looks, how well it's made, which I should have expected based on the ballpoints that I have, but this still is really nice when you get a pen and it just totally blows you out of the water, very much impresses you on every level. So kudos to Retro51 for another pen. I understand why so many people may love them, and they give you many, many temptations to buy another pen from them because of all the themes. I think there must be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They're all done extremely well. Beautiful. Just thought you'd like a look at our backyard. And yes, we have beehives. We have 4 of them. And an electric fence, because we do have bears in New Jersey. There's a lot of them. We need to trim around the hives a little bit more. Not a lot of activity tonight, but a decent amount. They come and they go. They go searching for nectar and pollen, and then bring it back to the hive to feed the young'uns, put into cells that eventually we may harvest to extract for honey. All the hives are a little bit different little levels of activity. The screen there is to keep mice from getting into the hive, which can happen on occasion. They enjoy honey too. Garden doing well this year. The tomato plants are near the end of the season. We have lots of tomatoes. We made a ton of sauce. That's great. And there's an asparagus plant that sprung out in the middle of the garden. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. It's phenomenal to have something like this. So with that, I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, finding one that you can fall in love with and just enjoy, and encourages you to write, doodle, draw, sketch. So with that, I want to say thank you to all of you. Appreciate your viewership. Leave a comment if you'd like. Hopefully you liked the video and give it a thumbs up. We reached the end. This just feels so great on paper. And we will say bye. I'll enjoy writing with this. It's so well my beekeeping partner.